So for today's video, I wanted to dive in and share with you guys a little bit about the new palette from Gourmande Girls Cosmetics. It's the Warriors Wear Pink palette, and it's collaboration with Sierra Soto. I will leave her handle link down below, but they collabed on this gorgeous palette together. As you can see, very, very pink, but this has a little bit of the blue and purple thrown in there. It got me definitely intrigued, and I really do enjoy the formula of the brand, so I was curious to try it out. However, when I saw it, it got me thinking to a palette that I think came out last year. I want to say it was last year for Valentine's Day, called the Cest L'Amour. I think that's how you pronounce it. And this palette, I would think it was launched around Valentine's Day, if I remember correctly, but it is very, very similar. So I was like, I wonder how close they are. I wonder if there's any improvements that can be made. And I figured, since I kind of missed the launch day of this palette anyway, I could do a video comparing the two together in case you did pick up this palette last year and you're wondering if you need this palette at all. Is there any improvements made? Is, you know, I don't know, just how close are they? How similar are they between these two palettes if you already own this one? Or if you almost wanted to buy this one but you didn't and now you see this one, are they similar enough and the quality is still there that this one will be worth picking up? So I figured I could do a video comparing these two on my eyes and answer that question for you guys in this video. So per usual, when it comes to comparison palette video, on my eyes I have one of them. I have the Warriors Wear Pink palette, and on the other eye I have the Cest L'Amour. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry. But one of these is on each of my eyes, and you can leave your guesses down below if you would like to tell me which one do you think is on my right eye, which one do you think is on my left eye. But yeah, the new palette that we are talking, the main point of this video is the Warriors Wear Pink palette because it is a new release from Gourmande Girls. As I said, it's in collaboration with Sierra Soto. I don't know why I trip over her name every time. I'm so sorry, but it's a brand new palette that is already out. I will leave the information on the screen, but I believe it's $55. I do have a coupon code, and as I said, it's already out. So I know this video isn't as helpful as if I was able to get it out before launch day, but it took me a little while to get to my UPS box, so I was late to pick it up, but I did want to play with it and do a video, and I definitely do want to play with it some more because, as you guys can tell from my eye makeup, I focused on the pinks and reds because that's what was overlapping in this palette over here, but there's purples and there's this beautiful color like greeny blue color over here that I want to play with. So yeah, we're gonna play with this palette some more for sure, but this first palette, or this first look that I'm showing you, will hopefully give you guys some information if you were eyeing this palette, and also, as I said, if you're wondering how they compare. So yeah, I think that's the intro I'm gonna give. We can go ahead and dive right into comparing them, and then at the end I'll give you guys kind of a very brief summary of what I think of the new Warriors Wear Pink palette. Okay, so I put on a little bit of Glam Lights eyeshadow primer. Let's go ahead and get into the fun. I love comparing palettes. So this is the new palette, the Warriors Wear Pink palette. Very, very pretty. I love that it's a pink palette, but it's got a little bit of something else thrown in there with, I feel like, a little bit more coral feel to it, but then also the purples in there and just a little bit more interest. That little bluish tone up there, very, very pretty. And then this is the Cest L'Amour. No idea if I did that justice, but this is the other side. So we're going to just keep them on this side. I'll do the old one on this side and the new one on this side, and I'm going to probably swap my mirror just so that the new side is closest to you because it is the newer palette. That's kind of the focus of this video. So hard part is we're gonna parcel this out and figure out. Obviously I'm gonna put black in each of the corners, in each of the outer edges. I guess they are corners, but anyway, I am going to be using a lot of, ooh, I can probably actually put this almost in the middle because I've moved some things around. Anyway, I'm also going to be using a lot of Isabel Cosmetics, their brush collection they sent me. There's a lot of really beautiful tiny little detail brushes. I've been really enjoying this set, so I'm going to use them as much as I can. I'll focus on those for this video, just if you're curious you can see how they work. Okay, so I'm going to use the E10 brush, and let's go ahead and start with the newer palette. And I'm going to have to be a little careful because this is a pretty wide brush, but it should work really nice for the outer corner. And let's pack it on right here. I am curious to see if there's an obvious amount of improvement from the formulas from the last year palette or the older palette to the newer palette. Ooh, that's very nice. I did not dig my brush in. Ooh, I'm going down too far. I did not dig my brush in there too much, but it is nice and pigmented for sure. Alright, we're doing this with the shape because I messed up what I was going to do. So we'll just do this. That looks really pretty. I'm going to clean off the brush and use the same one. I'll just flip it around. I try not to cross-contaminate. And then I'm going to go into Noir. This one actually looks like it's more, just from the pan, it almost looks more of like a brown black. So we'll see if they're any different. Pack that on. Yeah, it doesn't look as inky black as this side does. Or maybe it does. I don't know. This is a little bit, maybe it's just more firmly pressed because I did feel like I didn't get enough that first go around. I just tapped back into it and did not tap it off like I did the other side. But that's pretty darn pigmented. Yeah, I feel like maybe slightly different color, but getting very, very picky here. It's really not that big a difference. They both of the blacks pack on very pretty. So next I want to take this Rogue, which is like the red, matte red, and I'm going to take Life. I feel like Life is a little bit on the pinky side, but we'll see if we can make it work, and I'll go ahead and start with the new palette first, and let's go into Life. Picks up, doesn't look too insanely like soft or anything. It's got a nice amount of pigmentation, but nothing like making a mess in the pan. And I'm going to start off by packing it. Yeah, we're going to have to pack this one a little bit more, just because it's more pink than red. It's looking like this is more of a red or a pink than a red, and I feel like the other side's definitely more of a true red. But maybe I can, in the blending and stuff like that, I can make it all match up. We'll see. That's very pretty. All right, we're gonna stop with that. I'll probably get at least one more color to help soften that out, but I'm going to clean this brush off nice and well, just with like a color switch, and then go into Rogue, Rouge, whatever it's called, in the other side. Like I said, this one looks a lot more red, but we'll see. I feel like the first difference I see between the two palettes is that I think the older palette is a little bit more firmly pressed in the pan, because whenever I go into it, I have to use a lot more intentional pressing than I feel like I have to do the other side. And right off the bat, this is not wanting to blend out like this side is. Like this side, I didn't even do any blending. I was just packing over, and it already kind of did some blending and diffusing. This, I've packed it over, and it's like the harshest line. So that might be a difference there. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of time. This might be a tricky side because that line does not look like it wants to move at all. Let's see what we can do. Oh dear. And yeah, definitely I think more of a dark red on this side than this side is more. It's still red, but it's more pinky. We're gonna come back to, I'm probably gonna have to take some black on a really detailed brush to help blend that, but I wanna go in with a nice fluffy brush, and I'm going to take the lightest pink, which is Susie in the new palette, and we'll take, I guess, I should take this one very gently because I feel like it'll match the best. This one, we'll do this one. It's the lightest pink. I just feel like it's a little too neon where the other color is not neon, but it's the best we got. And then just blend like that. Oh, that took no time, and honestly kind of so pigmented it almost covered up that red, so I'll have to add a touch more back. But yeah, the blending I feel like is looking a lot more effortless so far on this side. I'm gonna go back into, I'm gonna have to grab a different brush because I'm gonna have to use that brush a lot with this side. So let me just grab another one. I just wanna add a little bit more red back into it. I feel like it kind of got lost like that. But yeah, that black is already starting to get blended in really nicely. Yeah, there's a little bit of a black line right here that I'm gonna want to play with a little bit. But honestly, a little bit more blending and dipping into that black I feel like is going to solve that issue. So let's go ahead and do that now. I don't need a brush like this though. I'm going to take more of a detail brush like this. Just a little black on it. And I always like to start well away from where I want to blend because otherwise I have too heavy of a hand, and I'm just going to go upward and kind of tap this in around like that. And then I just tapped into the red there, I should have said. But tapping in a little of the red over that black I feel like helps. And back into the black, but it helps kind of make sure it's all nice and combined there. Okay, I think that's looking really good. Gonna go tap once more into that lightest pink along the edges, and I feel like I'm pretty happy with that blend. So let's try and see what I can get over here. I'm going to clean off that darkest color, and I'm gonna go ahead and just grab another blending brush like this. This does really remind me it's Belle, what is it? Did I even say E7? It reminds me of the E35 from Sigma. And I'm gonna dip into that Biscoy, the like hot pink, neon looking pink. We're gonna put this on top, just like that. I think I remember people saying that this palette was, did I hear that it was hard to blend? Or am I just imagining that I heard it's hard to blend as I'm like struggling to blend this? Because even as I blend over this pink, as you can see, I still see the line where the red ended. So this might, and of course it could also be that this type of palette just could not be put on a sticky base, or you had to work, it was better to work light to dark than dark to light like I am working right now. So maybe that's it, but honestly, this side I'm not having a great time with blending. And not that like I am having, like I've spent a lot more time on it so far. I feel like I've spent about equal, but just the way it's not like tapping out and the lines are so intense, I just know it's gonna be a struggle to get these to get married. So I'm going to just put on some pretty music and you guys can watch me try to get this side to look like this side. I will say I feel like this is showing up more intense of a color, but this side definitely looks more blended in my opinion. So let me play with it. Okay, this next one I think is when we're going to take the Cest Amour, this shade, and I'm going to do it on the inner corner, the whatever is left bare, and I'm going to do Fighter on this side. I feel like those are the most similar. Let's go ahead and start with the new palette side. Make sure I grabbed into the right shade. Ooh, so pigmented. So we're just going to take this, and I don't usually go too crazy detailed on my inner corner. I just like a nice diffused, typically a pop of a different color, but I guess I could have done a pop of a different color with the new palette, but the old palette's pretty much all pink. There's no purple except there's like a green for the lid, which is pretty, but that's why I'm keeping this color a little bit more safe and boring. But that took like, what, 2 seconds to blend out? Very nice. And let's clean off that. I'm gonna pop right into that shade on the other side for the old palette, and let's blend it in. Definitely a little bit more. It takes, like I said, I think it's more firmly pressed, so it takes, I'm just like, I dip into this one, I'm used to how much I need to dip, and then I go to this side and dip the same amount. It's like, oh no, you need to dip a lot more. But it does get the job done. Slightly different color, obviously, because they're not the same palettes, but overall, very nice. Maybe a hint, a hair more like thicker of a pigment on the new palette side than the old palette, but I could just be imagining that because I'm having so many issues blending the other side. I'm kind of biased against it, but it's just something I feel like I think I see. I always like to just kind of go back in here and make sure this is really nice and fused. I'm even gonna touch just a hair of black. Ooh. Too much. That is pigmented, y'all. Gonna go back into red to help blend this out, but bring it up into the crease like this. And then I'll do the same on this side with that rouge. Let's see if I can get this blend. Like again, that black, I'm gonna dip into black now. That black just doesn't want to move. It was nice and intense, but boy, it's like I'm intense here and you are not moving me. I'm really not happy with the blend out here, but I'm kind of over it at the same time. So let's move on to glitter primer before we dive into the, oops, I just dropped the cover, to the lids. And I'm gonna do the bottom lash off camera when I finish up my face makeup, but I'm not gonna do anything too noteworthy on that. Just probably the same as whatever I put on top, black and then red. But the lid is where I'm gonna have the hardest time because I feel like that's where they're pretty different with the type of shimmers they offer. The new palette's got the pop with that blue and then different kinds of pinks, and then the old palette has a pop with more of the green with like darker pinks and stuff, whereas the new palette I think has brighter pinks. So I think I'm just gonna do pinks and I think I can get one. At least one of them looks relatively close. I think they're definitely gonna be different with the intensity of the shimmer. There's just so many beautiful mattes in the new palette, but the shine, this is a shimmer, this is a shimmer, and then this and this. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this shade for the outer corner or the main lid area, and that's gonna be this shade on the old palette side. And then for the lid, or for the rest of it, I think I'm gonna just do, they're not gonna be that close, but it's gonna be this color and then this white one. I'm hoping the white one will turn out to be, it's more of a blue, but you know what? I'll do that. I'm gonna do the pink on this side and then we'll see what it looks like. There's a pink here, but I feel like it's gonna be too bright of a pink, but we'll see. Maybe I can put this and then a tiny bit of that on top to brighten it if I need to. So, as I said, I'm just gonna do it and then we'll see. I'm gonna take this big fat brush from Metamorphosis. I'm gonna go into Familia, and it's more of that Super Shock, not really, but I don't know, that formula. It's super popular, where it's a little bit jelly-ish feeling, but not overly. Like I'd really have to, I don't think I can press it and move it around. It doesn't really move like that. So it's not one of those Super Shock formulas, but it's definitely like really slick feeling when I'm pressing into it, and it takes a good amount of pressure and sweeping around to pick it up for sure. But what you get on your eyes is quite pretty. Not too flaky. I say as I pile on way too much, but that was my fault. But not too flaky at all. When you take in moderation, it's very nice. And yeah, that's super pretty. I'm gonna just bring it down like that, and then I'll blend it out in a minute. Gonna take that same brush again, clean it off, and then I'm gonna go into Avant Garde. I think this is gonna be way darker. Ooh, and this feels quite different from the formula of the other one. This one just is more of like a shimmer formula, like the classic type of shimmer formula. I dug into it like I did the other side, and it kind of crumbled. I got too much of my brush, basically is what I'm saying. Definitely more of a gentle type of shimmer. Definitely pretty, but nothing like super sparkly and show-stopping like the new stuff. And then let's go ahead and take the smaller brush, or the small flat brush from the E9 from It's Belle Cosmetics, and we're gonna go into Dreams, that light pink. It's like a light pink purple. Ooh, this looks flaky. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay. I think it's flaky, but I don't think it'll look flaky if you just smooth it out appropriately. So like this, and then I'm gonna take a little bit more and go way up here. I like doing this to kind of help cut that crease and blend it. Oops, that was a chunk I don't want on there. Oh well, I'll put a little bit more of that color over top and that should cover it. But yeah, this is pretty. Definitely would be beautiful all over the lid for sure, but it does this kind of cut crease look really pretty. All right, let me go back on with just a little bit of this shade to kind of hide that mess up I did right there. And blend. 2 for 1. Do it all at the same time. Okay, this is looking very pretty. I'm happy with it. Cleaning off the brush. Let's go over, I'm gonna try this, but again, I think it'll be too pink, so I think I will be dipping into that lightest feminine. I think it's feminine. I don't know why I'm having a hard time reading the font. I think the background is a little bit distracting. Oh, one of my cats are in here. Peppermint, she's the social one out of the two. Okay, so yeah, definitely a lot more of a softer type of formula. More of a softer sparkle as well. It's still got some nice sparkle to it. I'm gonna dive into a little bit of that feminine there. This pulled, I think, what did I say, blue or purple? So I'm gonna go carefully, but actually I think that might, especially if it pulls purple, that might pair really nicely. And maybe putting it on top of that pink is gonna help match it up. Yeah, not too bad, honestly. For me sitting here saying there weren't colors close enough, those two look pretty darn. What do you guys think? Different formulas, different finishes on the eyes, but color-wise, honestly not bad. All right, at this point, I'm gonna go off camera and work on the final reveal to show you guys, because I just need to do some back and forth blending. Maybe I'll put, oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Hang on, I wanna put on a little bit of red. So I'm gonna take that second color, the life on this side that I used, the reds is what I'm gonna use to blend this into this. We'll see how that goes. I feel like that'll look really pretty to get it blended into the black without the black getting too dark. Like that. Something like that at least. Once I like how that looks, it'll give a little bit of a red shift. And then I'm gonna do the same on this side. I'm kind of scared too, but we're gonna take Rogue. I don't know how this is gonna go, but I think that'll work. Is it even transferring? I'm not sure. I feel like you can barely see it. I think you'll see it, especially in the final look. It'll give the outer edges just a little bit of a red feel to it. So I think that's pretty. Okay, at this point, this is where I'm going to say goodbye and finish out my eye makeup, and then we can come back. My mascara will be done. Maybe I'll put on wing liner. I don't know. I might just leave it since it's so dark in the outer corner. But we can talk through my final thoughts, so be right back. Okay, so I totally forgot to inner corner highlight, and also somehow when I was doing the tutorial, I totally forgot that I had a pink shimmer up here that looked awful similar to the like pink, I say pink, but it's like a white pinky white in here that I used all over the lid, and I swatched them and they are almost identical. One I think leans a little bit more purple in the reflect and one a little bit more blue, but besides that, they're pretty much identical. So the Warriors Wear Pink Tears shade up here, it leans a little little bit more purple when it reflects, honestly, just a little bit. And then the feminine leans a little bit more bluish, but honestly, when you swatch them, they're almost identical. So that's what's on my inner corner, as you guys see the close-ups here in a minute. But swatching them, looking at them on the eyes, they're honestly pretty darn identical, except for that little difference in the reflect it gives you as you move it around. And also, I feel like the old formula is just a little more crumbly. The top shade right here is the old one, the bottom is the new one. So yeah, pretty darn close. That's one that was obviously similar. I don't know why I didn't see it when I was doing the tutorial talking with you guys. I totally just glazed right over it, didn't see that as something similar. And then I finished out my makeup and I was like, what am I gonna use for my inner corner highlight? And I was like, oh, those two are basically the same. So that is another similar shade between the palettes. But anyway, this is the final result of what I got, and I feel like when you get the close-ups of this look, far away they don't look too bad. There is definitely a little bit of more of a sparkle shine to the new one, but close-up I feel like I'm not happy with the blend that I did out here for the old palette, and it was just getting too complicated. I feel like the more I messed with it, the higher and messier I got, so I just left it not as blended as I like. And of course I got some lipstick on my teeth, oh well. But the other side, the Warriors Wear Pink, which is the new palette, I feel like the blend is really pretty. I am very happy overall with how everything turned out. It's very beautiful, so that's definitely something I can say I think that has been an improvement for the brand Gourmande Girls as a whole, is their matte formula has gotten a lot better. Maybe it all had to do with the black just not wanting to move, and that's where I went wrong, but oh my goodness, it was a struggle. But the black in here, they've done something, they've improved their black, because this black was beautiful to work with. I really didn't feel like it caught at all. I placed it down really nice and tense, and then as I worked other shades into it, it started to almost blend itself by the time I was like, oh yeah, I need to kind of work to blend out that black. The work was basically all done, so very happy with that. So that's definitely the first thing I can say. They've made an improvement on their formulation of their pinks and reds and blacks between the two palettes, for sure. Definitely can say that. And then the shimmers, I feel like it's pretty obvious. Their shimmers have gotten a lot more shiny, a lot more metallic, looking a lot more sparkly reflect, and kind of more of that popular type of formula that's on the market today. The old formula, while I do think that this one had the same type of formula as what's in here, at least it looks as sparkly, the majority of the other shimmers in here, like this shade, and this shade, are a lot more, you know, calm. They're more of a normal shimmer. They're nothing too sparkly and crazy, and I think you can see that in the shade I used all over the majority of the lid. But as a whole, I definitely, like I said, improvement on the mattes, improvement on the shimmers, and I think that overall this palette, Warriors Wear Pink, is a lovely palette. If you're someone who likes pinks, or maybe you picked up the palette from last year and were pretty disappointed in how things blended because you had experience with the reds and the blacks and the pinks, I can say I don't think you're gonna have the same issue here. I was really happy with how beautiful this blended. Now I did only try, what was that, 3 colors that I blended together. I haven't tried the purple, so there's more, the browns and the burgundies down here. There's more for me to try, so this is definitely a first impression, but I do want to share with you, if you did struggle with this, I didn't struggle with this the same way that I struggle with this, so hopefully that gives you guys some information on the new Warriors Wear Pink palette and how it compares to their old pink palette. But yeah, I think that is going to do it for today's video. As I said in the beginning, I do have a code with Gourmande Girls. If you do want to use it, it is just Lady Katie, and it'll give you a discount on anything you purchase, or if you're interested in this palette, it can also, as far as I know, still apply to new palettes. So hopefully this video helps you out. As always, I hope it's just informative for you guys and give you guys some more information if you're trying to figure out if you want to pick up this palette or not. But yeah, with that said, that is going to do it for me. Thank you as always for watching these videos. I really do appreciate your support. Thank you so much if you made it this far, watching so much of my video. I really do appreciate it, and it definitely helps me out so much when my videos get a good watch time. It just helps it in the whole YouTube algorithm when people are able to watch majority of the way through. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you. A little special thank you to everyone who made it to the end. I appreciate you guys so very much. Don't forget, I'm over on Instagram, LadyKatie92 over there if you want to follow me and check out more like up close eye looks, like the pictures. I do reels over there. I do, you know, other fun reels as well, just to throw it in there, but I like to do tutorials and up close eye pictures over there. So LadyKatie92 if you want to follow me there. And with all that said, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.